Hello, Lemonsterites. It is your state representative, Natalie Higgins, here from my home office because unfortunately COVID-19 has hit my family. And so thankfully I am still testing COVID-free, but my partner is resting up and well on his way to recovery. But for this episode, I am so thrilled to be joined by the Boys and Girls Club of Fitchburg and Leominster and Gardner, the new executive director, Elizabeth Coveney. And I have gotten to meet Elizabeth a bunch of times, and I am just so thrilled to learn more about her, learn more about what's going on with the Boys and Girls Club. We're heading into the summer, so it is perfect timing to see what's going on and learn a little bit more about her background and what the Boys and Girls Club is up to right now. So Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining our TV show today.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Natalie. And hello, Leominster. I love that you invited me to be on the show, and I am so grateful for your commitment and support because we have had some great interactions. And so thank you.
Yeah, I know you really hit the ground running in the middle of a pandemic, taking on a really important institution in the Twin Cities and really in the three cities up here in North Central Mass. What drew you to joining the Boys and Girls Club? Tell me a little bit about your background and what brought you to this work.
Absolutely. So I really, I've enjoyed a wonderful career in the consumer products industry, advertising, executive search, and I've always loved leading teams and, thinking strategically about an enterprise, setting goals, and just kind of accomplishing success for whoever I am responsible for. But what I was really missing was, a purpose-driven organization. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I had all this passion, and I think that the pandemic gave everyone an opportunity to pause and reflect and think, what could I be doing that really contributes to the greater good? And so I was recruited heavily by Boys and Girls Club of America, and it went through a very robust search process. And then I, kind of was able to go through the interview cycle and learn more about the mission and the vision and what the Boys and Girls Club purpose and objectives are. And quite frankly, it's the perfect fit to my business acumen and my passion for kids. So I couldn't be happier to be leading this great organization.
No, it has been so great to connect with you in this new role. And could you tell me a little bit about your job to someone who isn't familiar with the Boys and Girls Club, like your job, your team, what happens on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, that's great. So I would say there's so many facets to my role as a CEO, and each day is just a new opportunity. So sometimes I like to speak in analogies. So for me, I would say my job is like a captain of a really large ship. So you have to be educated with all of the instruments. And then you have to rely on an amazing crew, which I have, an incredible leadership team, an incredible staff of committed individuals. And then you have to make sure your passengers are safe, and then you navigate through sometimes very calm waters and sometimes some rough seas, but all the while a beautiful landscape. So we sit on next to the conservation, on conservation land, and it is beautiful. My office overlooks all of that. I see deer, I see kids playing, I see interaction, and it's just a beautiful sight. So, but for someone who doesn't know what a CEO or an executive director does, it's everything. You're figuring out why there's no toilet paper in the bathroom, and you are meeting with major donors. So that's the beauty of it, the dichotomy across the whole landscape.
Yeah. And as someone who ran a much smaller nonprofit, I totally appreciate how it is you wear so many hats often simultaneously, and you're juggling a lot of really, really big priorities. And I'm wondering kind of how COVID has impacted the organization and kind of the way that you're thinking about coming out into recovery from COVID. Are there things that have changed at the Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah, I mean, definitely COVID was, we saw a complete drop off in terms of membership across the U.S. So it's not a Leominster, Fitchburg, Gardner issue, it is consistently, we saw our membership go down about 50%. And we're really in a rebuilding stage. And so we certainly have a lot of safety measures. We have, certainly these kind of, as you said, your partner is recovering from COVID today. And so every time we think it's over, it's not. And so we continuously practice all sorts of safety. We have a full safety committee. So there's that aspect. What it really comes down to, Natalie, is it's like, how do we re-engage our membership population? Because they were alone, they were left to devices, they were left to social media. And that's not what we practice here. We practice really character building. We practice reinforcing what they're learning at school. We are a STEAM club. So we have, science, technology, engineering, math, art. So we want them outside. We want them engaged. And so it's really rebuilding and using those muscles again that have maybe atrophied a little bit.
Can you tell me a little bit about the ages that you have programming for the different spaces? I'm a huge fan of like the teen space. Seems like a really, really great community space where they have a little more leadership ability. Just about the different ages and the programming that might be available this summer for families who are still trying to figure out what their summer plans are.
Yes, thank you. That's awesome. So we service 8 to 18-year-olds, and we separate our juniors. So if you are 8 to 12 years old, you are in our junior section. It's really important, just developmentally, emotionally. It's critical that we have a distinct areas. And our teen center is 13 to 18-year-olds. We have 2 really impressive clubs. So one is the Torch Club, and that is the Junior Leadership Club. And the mindset behind both of our clubs, Keystone and Torch, is service to club, service to community. And we have, it's really about building the next leaders. And we are so proud of these kids who voluntarily go in. It's actually a nomination process, but they apply to be in these clubs. Our Keystone Club runs a cafe in the teen center.
Very cool.
There's an entrepreneurial aspect of it. And now the Torch Club is like, well, hey a minute, we want to run a cafe too. So they just started their own cafe. And they serve meals to homeless population. They pack up snacks. I mean, there's just such a beautiful community aspect to the club. So I love that. This summer, we don't have a teen program because a lot of teens work and they aren't, we want to eventually. I think they've had some interest. But this summer, we have what we call the Summer Blast. It starts June 27th, and it goes to August 5th. And it's a 6-week camp, and it is, we have sprouts, so we have really young kids, and then we have all the way up to the juniors. It is a fabulous camp. We are going to Camp Collier 2 days a week. We have all sorts of STEAM programming. We have really engaged youth development professionals. We have goal soccer coming in, NASA Space Camp. I mean, it's just a tremendous
very cool
way to get involved.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. And are you still accepting folks can still sign their kiddos up for these programming?
Yes, absolutely. So you can go to our website. We just reconstructed our website, and there is a information right there on our Summer Blast, as well as membership for the fall.
Awesome. And we will make sure when we're sharing this video out that we include those links. I love kind of the way that the students who are the kids that are involved in the Boys and Girls Club are reaching out into the community. I'm wondering kind of like what goals do you have for the club and how it does kind of work with the cities that it's involved in?
Sure, absolutely. So I think that because of COVID and because we've had a tremendous amount of leadership change at the Boys and Girls Club, it's so important that we reconnect with the community. And so as you know, we hosted a community breakfast, and it was really about bringing our community together. It was not a fundraiser. It was not a presentation. It was simply a breakfast to connect and break bread with each other. And I was so grateful that we had both of the mayors from Leominster and Fitchburg. We had the support of you. We had the support of so many important community leaders. And so first and foremost, I want to make sure we're back on the map. And this weekend, we're hosting we call it Dream STEAM, but it is a science, art, and robotics fair. free to the public. We are so excited just to say, come look at this space. This is an amazing, incredible facility. This is an amazing team of folks who are really dedicated to the development of the youth. So first and foremost, Natalie, I want to make sure we're back on the map and that we are a place that people want to go to. The second area is we're serving less than 3% of the population, and we have room to grow. And so we have room to grow here. Our pre-pandemic levels are starting to increase, so that's great news. But I want to max us out, and then I want to look for additional space.
Yeah.
So we're completely maxed out in Gardner. We want to continue to grow in Fitchburg and Leominster. And so we want to welcome members back in, and I do not want to have a waiting list. I'm really committed to growing exponentially because the team is ready. The team is ready and we're hiring and we're going to get there. So those are my two kind of biggest vision is back on the map and increase our membership.
Yeah. And so I'm wondering kind of like, what is the most challenging part of your job right now as you're getting your feet on the ground, we're heading into the summer. What are some ways that maybe the community can also step up and support the Boys and Girls Club?
Well, I would say that my biggest challenge is speed. I can't get there fast enough. I'm so excited to just implement a strategic plan that I know will be so beneficial to so many. The community has been great. The community partnership coming from corporate to a nonprofit sector is not challenging at all because it's so welcoming and so gracious. I mean, I have been involved with the Chamber of Commerce, with the legislative community, with the nonprofit partners. I mean, the list goes on and on. And so staffing, like everyone, we want to make sure we have the right talent. So we have part-time youth development professionals, and we also have a full leadership team. And so really making sure we have the committed talent and that we're developing folks, that's a big opportunity for me. So as your listeners are interested, we have jobs posted on our website, and so we're always looking for great talent. So that's an area. And then just, people to learn more about the club, because you can never have enough donors. You can never have enough fundraising. We're so blessed and grateful for a lot of the government and federal and state and local funding that we have been beneficiaries of. But we also want to make sure that we're developing our community partners.
Yeah, no, and I think, from the state level, we're coming out of the pandemic understanding just how essential programs like the Boys and Girls Club, that after school programming, the summer programming, to make sure that our kids are getting really great experiences and being able to learn leadership skills and test them out and give back to their community. So we're definitely investing in them, but we also need to make sure that we're creating job opportunities for our young people, that we're able to make sure that they can continue to build those leadership skills in their work and afford to do this really incredible work.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And we have a career launch program, and that is just really trying to get our kids. I mean, when we survey our kids, it's food service, it's it's athletics, it's manufacturing. I mean, there's so many avenues that we're exploring to help them build those careers. And we, to the point of kind of restoring the membership as well as connecting with the community. We just hired a full-time social worker. And I know that you're really involved with the mental health and substance abuse, as a joint committee member. And it is critical that we address this, because this will be our next pandemic. We absolutely have to do that. So we're investing in children's mental and holistic health. Yeah. And so that's really important to us as well. So we're going to continue to lean in on that.
The more that we can talk to our young people, I think this is the way that we reduce the stigma around mental health in our community, make sure that we have communities invested in like each other's mental wellness. And I think some of the silver linings to COVID is that a lot of folks kind of experience trauma together. And with the onboarding of telehealth, it made behavioral health care a whole lot more accessible for folks. But I love that you're thinking really critically about how to bring this into the Boys and Girls Club, because, we're we're all still struggling. I will be the first to say, like, we didn't think that this pandemic was going to be around as long as it is. And we're still feeling isolation. We're still wondering, like, what is the best way to protect each other, and make sure we're safe, but also really needing that human interaction.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, Natalie. And that's really the foundation for everything we do. Or what are the programs that we can bring to our members, and where is the greatest need? And so re-engaging them starts with mental and holistic health. And so we're very aware and very, keying in on that aspect for sure.
Yeah. I'm really grateful that the Boys and Girls Club, at least up in North Central Mass, is focused on the Twin Cities and our sister city of Gardner, because we're gateway cities. Gardner would be a gateway city if they were a little bit larger, but we definitely need some more resources and some more investment. And we're constantly kind of advocating at the state level to say, hey, pay attention to North Central Mass. Like, we have a lot of untapped potential, and how do we tap that? I'm wondering if there are any lessons you've learned over even your short time about kind of paths forward and how we can continue to invest in this region.
Yeah. Well, I can't say enough about my experience here thus far. So I've been enrolled 6 months, and to me, the greatest kind of advocacy of this community is to work together. And when we all kind of have this sense of humanity and togetherness, and I have not had one person say to me, no. I mean, everyone's so helpful. It may not be, we always talk about time, talent, and treasure. Some of it is just resources, networking. I went to a North Central chamber meeting yesterday, and I was able to find 4 key connections just through their job fair, because we have a whole stage and theater that we don't know how to use. And I met a video production person. we met, it was great. Fitchburg State, like all of these great partners. So how do we come together? And if I could say to all the leaders of the nonprofit sector, of the community, certainly of the political realm, is just, let's all work together. We just have to really practice that humanity, and know that we all have the same interests, really.
Yeah. Do you have one of the themes that we have in this show representing Leominster, when we talk to community leaders, when we talk to local electeds, is kind of any advice you have for folks who are really passionate about a particular issue, how to be a better advocate? Any like tips or tricks? Because I think especially nonprofit leaders, you are advocating for your institutions and your constituencies all of the time. Do you have any advice for someone who's just getting started, or even maybe a new organization trying to do something up here in North Central Mass?
Yeah, I would say there's really 2 areas I would focus on. So one is the constituency. I learned so much walking around in the club. I'm here every day. I am out when the kids get here. It's all hands on deck, and we are learning from them. I mean, you're sitting, you're engaging, you're talking. It's almost like a mini focus group. And so I would say listening to your constituents and truly understanding what they want, what they need, what is on their mind, and then to go advocate for it. There's so much support, whether it's financial support or resources. We're very grateful that we have the Boys and Girls Club of America as our kind of partner, and they have tremendous resources. So how do we go and leverage the resources for what we need for our community? And so my tip would be that it's so important to listen to your constituents and then to go and advocate for them by looking at what's available, because there's so much, whether it's grants or it's finances or it's volunteerism. We have a great volunteer group that we're trying to really build. It could be coming in for a day, it could be coming in for a program, it could be peer-to-peer mentoring. So whatever that looks like, but I really think you have to start with what is the need, and then there's just tremendous resources out there, so you have to uncover them.
Yeah. How I got started working with rape crisis centers, before I even had my paid job as a teen counselor, I started as a volunteer because I was really committed to that work. I started training as a counselor in college. And when I moved back home, I made sure that I got involved with my local organization. I know you have a really, really great part of your website talking about ways to volunteer. Can you talk a little bit more about what that commitment could look like? What are the what areas of expertise that you're looking for in terms of supporting the Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah, that's great. So we have really 3 areas that we're focused on. One is just you want to have a team building activity. So we have plenty of opportunities, whether it's re-greening our play spaces, whether it's reorganizing our art closets, whatever that kind of physical labor is. It doesn't require a Corey or a Sorry. It's just really a great way to bring your baseball team, your corporate staff, whatever, for a one-day event. So we have a lot of folks who come in and do kind of what I would call manual labor. The second area is programs. So we are constantly looking for what is your expertise. And so we have 2 volunteers that are ninja warriors. So they came in, and we have a rock wall in our gym. They come in every Thursday. We had to cap the program because so many kids wanted to be a part of it. These are 2 high school kids that come in and do a whole agility rock wall program with, I think we capped it at 20 kids because there's 2 of them, but it's just a program that they have a lot of invested time, and it's complete strategy. I mean, there's so much science behind it. And so we have an art instructor who comes in and does art programming. So the list goes on, but if you have a passion about a different programming, especially in the STEAM realm, we'd love to have you here. And then the third piece is really what you said earlier, Natalie. It's about career development. It's about peer-to-peer mentoring. So we have speakers that come in for the Torch Club or the Keystone Club, and we want community partners to come in and volunteers to come in and just talk to our kids, talk to the members about their journey, about their company. So it's really important that we do some of kind of educational experiences, and it could just be a one-time situation. So we just welcome all volunteers. I mean, we have this great festival coming up on tomorrow, I guess Saturday, and anyone can get involved. So we'll continue to have events at the Boys and Girls Club. You're going to see a full arsenal of events coming up throughout the rest of the year. And so we're always looking for volunteers.
Yeah. So if you miss their event tomorrow, which is June 11th, don't worry. Elizabeth and her team are going to be setting up lots of more opportunities. And if you haven't checked out the space, I got to go to the breakfast, and it is really just a beautiful space. Every time I am there, I wish it was there when I was a teenager, because it is, these kids really get to build so many opportunities in terms of their own programming. And I've seen how they've been able to direct kind of what is available to them. So Elizabeth, I just want to thank you for joining me on this month's episode, for bringing a little bit more about what's going on at the Boys and Girls Club. And we will be sure to share your website and all of the ways that folks can get involved if they want to sign up their kiddos to participate in the program, or if they want to get involved, because we are always hearing from folks who say, I have a little more time on my hands. Like, who needs who needs some help? And I think the cool thing about Boys and Girls Club is really, depending on folks' expertise, there's a lot of different ways to plug in.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's really to inspire youth and serve others is really extraordinary. So I welcome all of you. And Natalie, thank you. You've been a tremendous support right out of the gate. So thank you for your support.
Yeah, happy to make this connection. So thrilled to have you on, and can't wait to have you on again, maybe in a year, so we can hear what has been going on.
Yeah, all the progress.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much, Elizabeth. Right. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will see you next month.